Damn. Hello, and welcome back to this week's episode of Yip to My Yap. I'm Erica Starr, and today I'm here with
Laura, or Holy Hippie, whatever you may know me as.
And today we are talking all good things, all things wellness, all things friendship, all things girlhood. You name it, we got it here. So today we're going to start off with who is Holy Hippie?
So Holy Hippie and Laura are the same people. I am not any different than what I am on my social medias. It's really important for me to be authentic, show the bad sides, the negative sides of my life and the positive sides of my life. So with that being said, what matters to me the most is like my happiness, and whether that's like eating wings or shopping or going to the park and sitting on grass. Like I really prioritize the things that just make me smile. And I feel like that's the true essence of Holy Hippie, honestly. Because when you think of Holy Hippie, it's like happy. Like I have a little something I'm working on, and the logo's like a little flower. And it just like, it's a symbol of like happiness and peace. And that's just really all I'm about and all I really care about, honestly.
You know, when I think of Holy Hippie, at least for like, because I've had you on Instagram for like nearly a decade now.
Yeah.
But the first thing I think of is mainly your clothes. I feel like that's like the biggest thing. It's your clothes and your makeup.
Yeah.
Because your eyeliner especially, that was a whole other thing. I had written you like a year back or something. And I was like, dude, how do you do that?
Yeah, I remember that. It's like the clothes that I wear and the makeup that I do is like the perfect example for what I just said about my happiness and stuff. Like you can tell I'm a very colorful, happy, vibrant, outgoing person. And that's what I try to show with the way that I dress and the way that I do my makeup. I like to have fun with everything. And yeah, that's what makes me, honestly.
Yeah. No, and it's interesting that you say that, because I just had this conversation the other day with one of my friends where I was just like, because I don't think at least that I have like a very distinct like style or like, I mean, the most you could say is that I'm always wearing flare jeans, but that's just me. But the thing that I was talking to my friend about is just how like, I don't fit in with like one specific type of style. Like I feel like I wake up and I'm like, today I'm feeling like a 90s music video.
Yeah,
or today I feel like frolicking in a field kind of vibe or whatever. And it like anybody else would say like, Arca, like you're dragging this is a bit much. But I feel like your clothes are like the biggest thing not the biggest thing. The most obvious way to express how you're feeling, who you are and all that. Like I know that to some people in the street, I might have a resting bitch face, but my nails are a whole bunch of different colors and I got stripes on one and I got plaid on the other. So I feel like, you know, when you see those little parts of people, they're just like, oh, okay. And you can make a whole other judgment. So I don't think that people utilize like their clothes enough to express themselves. And even though it's costly sometimes and stuff, I think it's 100% worth it.
I feel the same way. Also, like, touching on what you said about how like maybe one day you'll feel like 90s and then another day is like 70s. I feel like that's what makes you because most people have a specific aesthetic or a specific style that they're going to go for. And it's like the fact that you're able to switch it up and you want to switch it up just shows like what goes on in your brain in a way. It's like I have so much in my brain and I'm not this one specific person. I can be like 10 different people if I want to, but it still fits you because it's you at the end of the day. And the people around you, your friends, your family, like they expect that from you. And that just, honestly, I feel like that just becomes like something refreshing to be around. Especially now, I'm about to branch out on a whole other thing, but like the implants in New York City, like they're trying hard to be like they're from New York, but they're not. And it's showing. And it's like, that's why I love people like you and me who can be like 90s one day and 70s the other day, because it's like we have these people coming to New York trying to be like us, but they just never could.
Yeah. Because the whole point of being, not the whole point, but the whole essence of being a New Yorker is not giving a fuck about how
Exactly.
you look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, we could like be super cute one day, but that don't mean we're not gonna come out with a messy bun and some sweatpants. And,
Yeah.
you know, like that's just what New York is.
Yeah. And even like back to the transplant point, I feel like they pick one aesthetic that they see New Yorkers either pull off, like even if it's as stereotypical as like Tim's and sweats or something,
Yeah.
and they stick to that really hard.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, like it just goes back to just being a New Yorker, we're just different.
Exactly.
You just got a little spice.
Yeah.
So one thing that I, you know, after like going through your YouTube videos and stuff, that I noticed how you mentioned that you don't want to work a 9 to 5. That's not in the cards for you. So I want to ask, what does success look like for you, and how do you think you'll get there? Or how do you know you'll get there?
First of all, thank you for watching my stuff and actually catching those little comments, because I know that's when I'd be like yapping. And
That's what we do.
But yeah, so honestly, for me, it's like I left my job maybe like 2 years ago. I was working at Kith and I had a great time there, I'm not gonna lie. That was like my third retail job, I wanna say. And let me see, I left. So when I left, I wasn't really making that much money with social media. I had just blew up on TikTok while I was working there. And literally right after I left, blessings started to come. Like, I'm gonna be real transparent. I was making $10,000 a month for like 3 months. And I was like, oh my fucking God, I am loving this. But things got slow, you know, and I'm able to like live because I live with my parents, which I'm really blessed to be able to do that. So that's why I'm able to like figure my shit out. But it is a battle between like, should I get a 9 to 5? Like, am I being lazy or am I being like comfortable or whatever? But like genuinely in my heart, I know I just don't want that. And I know that if I did get that, it would stop me from doing everything that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be able to like focus on my YouTube. I wouldn't be able to like, you know, do my reels here and there. And I'm not gonna lie, if you're watching me and you've seen my content, like I have slowed down. The content has slowed down. It's been a little rough time, but that's because I'm trying to figure out what's next. Like the get readies with me did what it had to do for me. You know, I blew up on TikTok, got a good amount of followers on Instagram, and now it's like, okay, well, what's next for me? So I'm really focusing on my YouTube and my brand coming very soon. I'm so excited for that. But the fact that I live with my parents is allowing me to just like figure my shit out and vibe and dip my feet into that and this. And yeah, so that's really what I'm doing right now. And as far as like how I see myself getting to where I want to get, definitely YouTube. YouTube and then my brand. But really what I want is I just want YouTube to like pay me enough to like do whatever the fuck I want, like post the best content and then like use that money to like invest in my brand. And then I feel like once you like blow up, I feel like YouTube is the hardest to blow up. It is
But
the
when
hardest.
you do, I feel like it's the most solid.
Exactly. It's the most solid. So once you got your YouTube, like since I'm like lacking on TikTok and Instagram right now, I feel like once I get that, it'll all just come back. And then it'll all just flow. The brand deals will come back, all that. It'll be nice.
Yeah. I think you might have touched on this before, but I think it's all just a matter of just like that whole like divine timing kind of thing. And like you're lucky enough to, you know, like you said, just to be able to stay with your parents and focus on, you know, your own stuff and all your creative work and all that. And I think that when you're in a place to finally just kind of put all your eggs in one basket, really just focus on the thing you want to focus on as hard as you want to, that it all comes back to this thing where you just have that much faith in yourself and
Yeah.
just it's that self-belief that it's like, no, this is you having this like 100% knowing
Yeah.
of this is what I want to do, this is what I'm meant to do, and I'm going to do what it takes and I'm going to go through all the trial and error and the peaks and valleys of doing this thing
Mm-hmm.
because in the end it's going to work. And I think for any creator, it's this thing of like, I always said this even about like this podcast, where when I start, I know that this is something where I'm just going to be that video sent to the group chat of the high school girls where it's like, oh, look what she got into and nobody's watching, ha 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 kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I saw this post the other day where it's like, it's crazy until it works.
Yeah.
That it's just like, and I don't know how much you could speak on this because obviously you have a bigger following than I do, that where it's like, you're working hard and all your friends know that, and whoever's cool with you at that point and whoever your friends are, like, that you're solid people, whatever.
Mhm.
But it's like after you get like a certain following, it's like people just start kind of like coming out like, oh, because even for me, I have people I've known like from when we were kids, all of a sudden they want to be on the podcast. I'm like, you
Yeah.
haven't spoken to me
Mhm.
in years.
Yeah.
Like now I have a platform of some sort for you to speak on and
Yeah.
you want to chat. What's going on?
Yeah, I actually have a little, I'm not gonna drop no names,
Mhm.
but there's this girl that I was really good friends with, and I actually heard from a little birdie that she was saying like, oh my God, Laura's trying so hard to be an influencer. Mind you, at that point I already was.
Mhm.
And it's like you go on her page and she's trying really hard to be an influencer. And
How dare you knock someone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, like till this day, like she's still in my DMs. And it's like, all love. I will never like be salty. Like I be answering cool. But girl, I know what you did. I know what you said. I know what you said. But it's like, that's going to come with all of it. Like the people that are low-key hating, the people that want to come in your life just because you're doing this and that. And it's like, it is what it is. And it's just part of the game at this point.
Yeah.
It's honestly part of the game. And also I wanted to touch base a little bit about being an influencer and like the trials and tribulations that come with that. I already said that like things have been hard, but like I just want to let people know that it is ups and downs, and there's going to be a lot of downs before there's ups. I started with a very big up, like my first viral video got like 5 million.
Sheesh.
And by that night, I was already at 10K on TikTok. Like the growing was crazy, but then I had a down, and that's right now. It's still down. And I'm not going to lie to you. Like, let's see. Last year, I had like maybe 3 brand deals throughout the whole year, which is not a lot considering the fact that I was getting like 1 a month or 2 or 3 a month.
Yeah.
So it's been rocky. I'm not going to lie. And I do have like the parents and the brothers telling me like, well, you should just get a job, or what are you doing? Or my dad, like he'll often ask me like, well, how many followers do you have now? And I actually lost like 5K on Instagram. I was like at 100K and I lost 5. I'm not fazed by it. I'm really not, because like I said, it's a part of the process and it's fine. Like it is what it is.
Bro, I lost 2 followers today. I almost cried. So better than me. I said
Really?
I lost 2.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, like I do be sad. I'm not gonna, it sucks, but at the same time, it's like what you were saying. It's like, I know this is what I'm meant to do. There's no other option.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is what it's gonna be. But when my dad asks me that, I'm just like, so what? I'm supposed to tell you that I'm actually at 95 instead of 100. So things like that like get to me. But, for the most part, I think that doing the things that we do and like putting yourself in front of a camera and putting yourself out to the world is already a really hard thing to do. And but also very rewarding at the end of the day. But
yeah. I wanted to ask, because even for me, like, I feel like just my growth on Instagram has been fairly consistent, where I can say like, I'm going up an average of, however many views every week. And I'm like, okay, cool. How do you deal with just like that dopamine rush? Because for me, like I post every day. So every day I'm checking until I hit whatever my goal is for that video, whatever my goal for plays, comments, likes, whatever that is. And it's like, it's addicting. Like
Yeah.
all those, like those old memes of like social media apps being like pills and shit. That shit's real.
No, yeah, it's real.
So,
it is real.
Yeah. So how do you deal with that on like such a large scale after going viral and all that?
I feel like I used to be a lot more attached to the likes and the views and the comments in the beginning because I was getting that rush and that dopamine. But I had to learn to detach from that because of the simple fact that I wasn't getting the same like reactions and the same amount of like likes and things like that. So I would say, I feel like you're a lot more like, what's the word? Like you're a lot more intentional with what you're doing. And I admire that of you because like, yeah, of course. Because like for me, it was like just fun, which is good, but also you have to be able to, what's the word, capitalize off of what you're doing and like be business savvy at the same time. So like I wasn't like, I wouldn't be like, okay, next week I need to make sure I hit this goal, which I should have. Because had I did that, then I would have been able to make a plan. Okay, how are we going to reach that goal?
Yeah.
You know, and I wasn't doing that. It was just like, I was just posting videos every day because it was fun and I was getting likes and shit. And it was luck.
Yeah.
It was luck. I'm not going to lie. It was luck because I was not like being strategic with it at all. And I do regret that. But honestly, if that's giving you that dopamine, that's the thing that's gonna make you want to keep going. So soak it all in, girl. Soak it all in. Like it's still a thing where I'll post something and I'll go look at how it does, obviously, because like I want to see how it does. But I would just say soak it in, and like if you keep going the way that you're going and like keeping that strategy in mind, but also having fun, you're going to go great places.
Oh, so that's the goal.
Yeah, honestly, like just we've been following each other for so long. For so long, it's crazy. It's been like 10 years. Like
yeah. Since
we've
we were, like,
seen
in
each other
middle
grow.
school.
We've literally seen each other grow. So, and I've always seen your personality. Like, even though you weren't an influencer, or I don't know if you would say you want to be
online person.
Yeah, like your presence was felt on my Instagram. So yeah, I give you your flowers for sure.
Stop. I don't know how to react to compliments. I'm so bad with that.
I can see you're like,
yeah, I'm just like, put me in a hole. But thanks.
Yeah, of course.
So with that history in mind, since following you since fucking forever, you've always had like a super solid girl group of friends. Like that has been your thing. If anything, I would say like they've been your rock like your whole freaking life.
No,
and that's how you've portrayed them from the beginning up until now. Like that's your thing. So I just wanted to ask, like, how do you keep a close female friend group, specifically female friend group, because that's really hard.
Yes.
From childhood into adulthood.
So first I want to start by saying I heard that shit is hard out here. I heard that it's hard.
Like, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I heard it's hard out here to like get a solid group of friends that you didn't already know or that you didn't grow up with. But let's see. So me and my friends have been friends for like 13, 14 years. We became best friends in 6th grade, and there was actually 7 of us, and we're down to 3. Are we the problem or were they the problem? I don't know. I don't know. But me and my friends now, it has been a lot of understanding each other. So like I'm very sensitive. I am the sensitive friend. I am the crier. I am you spoke to me some type of way, like, I'm the friend that I'll be with my best friend Emily, and she'll be like on her phone in her crib, and I'll be like, do you want me to be here right now? I swear.
Really?
I swear to God. Okay. Like, I'll be like, do you want me to sleep over? And she'll be like, no. I'll be like, can I sleep over? And she'll be like, yeah. And then I'll be like, but do you want me to sleep over? And she'll be like, Laura, stop. But I think it's getting to know each other to the core and like understanding each other's love languages, one, and also the way that they communicate and the way that they feel and the way that they view things. So an example, like one of my best friends is a little distant. Like whenever she needs her time, like she'll take her time, you know? And I'll hit her up and she might not answer.
Yeah.
And then I'll call her and she won't answer. And then I'm like, okay, she needs space.
Yeah.
Right. But it took us time to learn that versus one of my other friends where when my other friend would like go in her little bubble, she would be like, kind of like, she would feel offended by it. And then I'll be like, no, this is just how she is. But that took us time to learn. And now we're at a point where it's like, we know when so-and-so is going into her bubble. You know, we know when she needs the space.
And when she needs you in her bubble and she just won't say it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Like it's a line between figuring out what your best friend needs and figuring out what they don't need in that moment. And also separating yourself and how you view things and how you may need things and understanding that other people don't need it that way.
Yeah.
So one of my friends is very, I'm not gonna say she's mean, but she you know, she can be a little bitch sometimes. She can be a bitch sometimes. And we actually used to argue a lot. And we have some dark history. Like she has made me cry before, like cry. And there are things that I will never forget because they hurt me. But at the end of the day, like that's what makes our friendship so strong because we hit that stage where it's like, you made me cry and said some mean things and stuff like that. And now we're 7 years later and I can remember that, but now we've apologized for it. Like me and my friends get so vulnerable to the point where me and my friend admitted to each other that at one point we were kind of like jealous of each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, and that's like, my eyes are getting watery. I don't want to cry, but like, it was like literally we were at a pier and we were just like, I don't know what sparked the conversation, but we just dig deep. And she was like kind of telling me the ways that I've hurt her before because I was always focused on me and what hurt me because I'm the sensitive friend, right? But then she opened up to me and told me the things that I've done that have hurt her. And then like we ended up crying and apologizing to each other. This was like last year. And for you to admit to a girl that you've been jealous of her or she's the reason why you've been insecure or whatever, like that's such a vulnerable space to be in. And that's like some real trust sisterhood shit.
Yeah.
And that's what we base off our friendship off of. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like I'm the one who opens the doors to being that sensitive and vulnerable with each other because I always have to voice how I feel. If you made me upset or sad, I can't just like act like nothing.
Like you don't even care if it's a safe space. You're like, I want to make myself safe.
Exactly.
So I'm going to express this.
Exactly. So that is something that we worked on, and honestly, we're at such a solid place with just communicating and letting each other know how we feel that it's like, I honestly don't know what can break us up at this point. And another thing is like, you can't treat your homegirls or your whatever you want to call them, your sisterhood, your best friends, you can't treat them any different than you would treat a romantic partner. Like talking about you giving this guy 3, 4, 5 chances and then one time your best friend fucks up and you're trying to cut her off. Like that's not okay. And that's like, if anything, your best friend should be getting more grace than that romantic partner because at the end of the day, if you and that person were gonna end up not being together, it's your best friend that's gonna be there for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think for me, like having friends is one of the most important things in my life.
Yep.
Like besides family coming first always, like they are my family. And without them, like I don't know what I would do at all. Like I also have a second group of friends from high school that's also very solid, but like without any of them, I don't know what I'll do. I'm not the person to be like, I was born alone, I'm gonna die alone. No.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't even believe that.
Yeah.
Like that whole quote. Like, I don't want to die alone. I want to have people by my side. I want to have friends. I want to have loved ones. And I'm like not scared to admit that. I don't want to be like this hard person with the cold heart talking about I can be alone. Like that's not me, you know? I
Yeah.
appreciate my people.
Yeah, you touched on so many things.
I know,
so
I'm
many
sorry.
things. No, you're good. That's the point of this. But one thing I think is really important is just understanding that love languages aren't just exclusive to relationships.
Yep.
Like, I feel like a lot of issues that sometimes even come about in my head because sometimes it's just me overthinking. Sometimes I'm the problem. But a lot of times I'll think that like a friendship is ending or that like I'm losing a friend because of exactly what you said. Sometimes they just don't want to talk and you have to accept that. Or sometimes I'm the one that goes into the cocoon when shit hits the fan and I'm going through it. I'm not talking to anybody. And and I had to teach my friends to accept that I'm going to go through it alone because I'm tough enough to deal with it. Like it's not something where it's like you have to look for me and I might be, in a super like dangerous situation or something, or I'm going to hurt myself or anything. It's more of like the way I deal with things is that if I got myself in a tough situation or if I got myself into something, I got myself in it, I'm going to be the one to take myself out of it. I don't need to consult anyone. I don't need to speak to anyone, especially if I know what the answer is. So I had to teach my friends, like, this is how I am. Like, yes, I'm quiet in the group chat. Yes, I haven't texted, called, FaceTimed, or I haven't been posting my close friends, but I'm good, but just let me be good by myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's something that I think is really like the love languages are something that I think is really important to understand because I feel like it's very high school to be like, you haven't spoken to me. Guess we're not friends anymore. Bye.
Yeah.
It's just like, we need to understand we don't have time to keep up with each other 24/7. We don't have to keep tabs on everyone. Like, I do have friends that surprisingly enough, we talk every day, even if it's like super minimal conversation, but I at least know what you ate today for whatever random reason. I have friends who are like one of my close friends, she out of nowhere was just like, I almost melted my AirPods in my oven. And I'm like, what the fuck? And
I'm
super
dead.
random. We spoke for like an hour about that random mishap and that was it. Like, there's some friends you have that with, but I think people need to understand just because someone isn't speaking to you doesn't mean that there's a problem with you. Like nothing is like, not everything is all that personal. And I think that to nurture adult relationships, like in friendships, I mean, is to understand that part and to understand that it takes just as much effort in a friendship, like you said, like with the whole relationship thing. It takes just as much effort to keep that up and to keep it healthy. You don't have to speak all the time, but I think boundaries in friendships are something that needs to be expressed early on because some people, like, you're not going to understand everybody. Not everyone's going to understand you. But in real friendships, you take the time to.
Yeah.
And there was something else you touched on that I wanted to talk about. There was the love languages. And oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm losing it.
Was it?
Did you see my eyes glisten at a certain point?
Yeah. I said the love languages.
Love languages. And then we got into the friends and then high school friends. Oh my gosh.
I touched base on not like dying alone.
Yes, it was that.
Okay.
Oh, I wanted to say that I can't stand people with that mindset. That is something that I have always stressed because especially, I don't know why, I ran into a whole bunch of negative Nancy's in college and some in high school people who are just like, I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone. And I, like you said, you're born alone, die alone, and that they can go through life alone and everything's going to be fine. And I always sound so kumbaya when I say this, but I'm like, humans like created society and civilization through like community and everyone needs each other. And
exactly.
And at some point we were all bartering. We all go to other people for the things that we lack. And this is like a super bullshit example that I always use. So I'm like, I want to say like 5'1". I have no idea how tall I am. Everybody's lying. I compare myself to other people. People say they're 5'6" and they're like my height. I'm like, nah, somebody lying, But the point is I'm short and I make a lot of chicken parm. So I'm always grabbing breadcrumbs at the grocery store. I know
Okay.
this is getting somewhere.
Yeah.
So one thing I've learned with all the chicken parm I make, I've gone to several grocery stores. The breadcrumbs are always on the top row.
Okay.
And I never reach it. And then I get this thought every time after somebody tall passes by and I'm like, hey, can you grab that? I leave the grocery store with the thought of like, you see? And that's why humans were meant to communicate.
Exactly. No, it's so true though.
It's little stuff like that. But that's always like my really stupid example for the bigger picture, that people need people.
Mhm.
And you can't go through life thinking you'll never need anyone, that no one's ever gonna need you, because you're gonna be miserable.
Yeah.
Without people, we're all miserable. Without connection, we literally need that to survive.
Yeah, I'm really heavy on that. And I wanted to touch base on what you said too about
Which thing? Oh, see, we're back and forth.
I'm getting it. It's coming.
We don't need people. Die alone. That's back to what you said.
Yeah.
Don't need friends.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You were talking about how you are the friend that kind of detaches, needs their space. That was also something that I had to learn to accept, because I was the one taking things like that personally. Like me and my other friend, like we would take that personally, and it taught me, that's exactly what taught me how to love my friends properly. Like, I'm the one that if I'm going through something, I want to talk about it, even if it has nothing to do with you. Like, I need to vent. I need the advice. I'm not going to say I can't go through things alone, because I can, but I just rather not.
Yeah, if it doesn't have to be that way. You know, people who care about you.
Exactly. And then like, sometimes I feel like a burden, because it's like, damn, like, am I leaning too much on my friends? And being that they're not like that, like, is this too much for them? But then that's what makes my friends so great, is that they're okay with that and they accept that. Like, I can talk about the same situation with my friends 20 times and they're not going to get tired of it. Even though they might be a little annoyed, but they're still going to hear me out. They're still going to they're still going to give me advice. They're still going to talk to me, and I'm still going to repeat the same thing over and over. And we're still going to
new realizations about the same story.
About the same thing. And I'm going to be like, you know,
and
what?
another thing.
Exactly. So yeah, I feel like that's something that just makes friendship and is really important.
Yeah. And you know, I have one of those friends. Shout out to Seema. She is someone, when my boyfriend first started, she knew every single update. Because this goes for the good things too. So it's like, you know, you could be going through something, but for me, it was like, he just said the most sweetest thing, sent her a screenshot. And she's pretty much married with her boyfriend. She's got like no like, you know, gossip stuff going on. And I'm just like, I think she's a good person to yap to, because like, you know, she could live through me a little bit.
Yeah.
And so then I would send her all these messages, and like looking back at the messages, I'm like, damn, like she knew everything, like every single step, and not one. And I even got soft on one time, and I was like, I'm really sorry if I'm like bothering you with, you know, all this sappy stuff. And she's like, no, this is good. You haven't been in a relationship. This is great.
Yeah.
And I think it's that weird thing where I go through like this thing in my head where like, do you value like history over just like the role that person plays in your life? Because she's been in my life since 2022. I think we're going to almost 3 years of friendship now, I think. And for me, oddly enough, like that's considered a friend with history, because I was one of those, like, had a big falling out with a bunch of people in high school, and I kind of started at zero in college with friends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like, that's why I always like admire like your girl group so much, because I used to have that, and I was the one that fucked up our girl group. Like, it was 100% me. I was the one that, like, you know, I started the rift between me and someone else. Everybody picked sides, and then I slowly lost another one, and then it was just me.
Oh.
So yeah, and that's why I'm so big on like the whole like wellness and change and growth and stuff, because it's like, well, if I was able to change, then, you know, I have hope for everybody else.
Yeah.
So all that to say, like, I used to have this thing growing up where I was just like, I've had my friends, like we were going on like 9 years, some of us. And I've had them for so long. Like, I'm solid. These are my girls for life. These are my bridesmaids. You know, all the things that you think, like if they have a sister who's going to give birth, you're like, I get to be their aunt. Or like, you know, you just think all these things are going to be the godmother of your kids. Like all, like no one talks about like how big those little thoughts are, because they sound corny and like so kiddish. But as you get older, you start realizing for the friendships that make it, that you are actually going to be their kid's
You
aunt or
know,
a
yeah,
godmother, or you're
actually.
going to be there for the baby shower, you know, like all those huge things. And then when you aren't friends anymore, you just kind of watch from the sidelines. And it's
Yeah.
this thing of like, if I didn't fuck up, I'd be there. You
Yeah.
know, it's a fucked up thing, and it's bittersweet. So I had to learn that, you know, you're gonna make new friends, and though they'll never be able to replace the parts of your childhood that, like, I have all the friends that I had for like my first kiss, like the girl that I called after I had my first kiss, she's the only one who has that memory of me being that excited. And I never get
Mhm.
to like, you know, like reminisce on that. And
Yeah.
it's just me. You know, it's like it's little things like that where it's like you feel like you lost parts of your childhood because the only
Yeah.
person who experienced it with you is no longer here. It's not
Mhm.
they died, obviously, they're just not
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
life anymore. So I kind of had to teach myself that it's okay to make new friends, and these new friends can hold as much weight. And though they can't replace your old ones, like they can still be of so much value, and they can still be the friends that that you have obviously need. Cause
Yeah.
I tried to do the whole like, I don't need anybody kind of thing too. Like, and I was just like, no, I'm just not her. Like, I want to love up with my friends, like, and I have no friends.
Yeah.
So I went through college kind of lonely for a bit, and then started making friends at work. And then my friend group now, it's a weird way that it was like formed. It was like one of my friends from college. We knew like that we were cool in college. He was cool, I was cool. We were like, okay, we're cool people, but like our schedules never meshed. We never decided to hang out. And then like years later after I graduated, we were like, we should hang out.
Mhm.
And he and I got cool. And then he had a birthday, and it was a trip to Miami with all his other friends that I had never met. And he
And
was,
you went?
yeah. And he was like, you should come. It was like 3 other people. And I was just like, are they gonna fuck with me? Because they all know each other. They don't know me.
Yeah.
But one of them didn't know the other two too well. Two of them were a couple. So I was like, okay, that counts as one person. And the other
Mhm.
person counts as one. I was like, this is hard. I was like, but I was just like, well, it's your birthday. I'm huge on birthdays, by the way. Birthdays,
Okay.
like I show up for all birthdays. That's like my thing. And if I can't show up, I'm doing a whole little birthday shebang for
Yeah,
you, like
yeah.
just us.
I feel that.
So I was like, fuck it, I'll go. So I get there and I meet one friend at the airport, and I meet the couple. They were already at the Airbnb by the time we got there. And these people have become people I just fucking adore. Like they're my favorite people. Like whenever I just want to have a laugh, whenever I just want to look at the group chat and see something super fucking ridiculous,
Mhm.
and then like on one, like I speak to each of them individually. And whenever I want to have a deep conversation, I can talk to one. And I realize through them that I can have friendships that feel like I've had them since I
Yeah.
was in middle school. Like
Mhm.
there's a childish nature to our friend group that I really love. Like it doesn't have to always be like super serious conversation.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
anything, sometimes I wish there was more serious
Mhm.
conversation. But all we do is just bug out. And it's been really hard in my adult life to be able to find a group of people who I can hang out with and just enjoy my time. Like I'm not thinking about anything other than just having a nice time. Like these are
Yeah.
people, I don't have to think twice about them. And although like I know my dad's probably watching this, like don't trust nobody, because that's part of where I get that from. I grew up like he would tell me, even with those friends from when I was a kid, they're not your real friends. They're not more important than their family. Like he's that kind of
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Super Bushwick,
Mhm.
Like, and I was like, but daddy, like, come on, they're my friends. And I'm still that girl where I'm just like, but they're my friends and I love
Yeah.
them. So, all that to say, like, it was tough for me, and it took a whole lot of years to try to figure out how to love adult friends the same way I would when I
Mhm.
was a kid, and how to receive that love and how to trust them.
Yeah.
Because like I said, a lot of where my trust came from was the fact that they knew me when I was ugly. They knew me when I was, just a weird girl with braces and just strange. I feel like I was
Yeah.
a strange ass kid, So,
Same. Same.
So there's that weird other trust where it's like, you knew me when I was like that, and you still here. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, adult friendships are hard, but I'm glad I found my little tribe.
I feel like that also just shows what you were saying earlier, that like people need people at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter what's happening in your life. Like at the end of the day, you need each other. And the fact that you found your friend
Mm-hmm.
in college, went to this trip, and now you
Mhm.
guys have the most beautiful friendship, like that just goes to show how important it is to just always like look for how to I feel like you should never stop looking for love, and not in the romantic
Mm-hmm.
way. Like always just being open, being a kind person, like receiving any type of love, genuine love that comes your way, because you don't know what's going to come out of that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I can also talk about too what you said about like losing a friend and then like remembering that you were going to be the godmother to their kids. I actually lost a best friend that was a part of like my clique. And if I we me and her were like the closest out of like everybody in our group, I
Mm-hmm.
would say. Like I was the closest to her.
Yeah.
And um we're no longer friends, and she has a baby and like probably getting married soon. And like,
Yeah.
we still follow each other, and there's still so much love there, but I see her baby and her family, and I'm just like, damn. Like we used to talk about this all the
Yeah.
time. Like I wonder who's the godmother now. Like I'd
Yeah.
be wondering, and I'm like, it's crazy too, because like I've also been through other fallouts, like with my current friends, and when we were really young, some real fucked up shit happened, and like we stopped being friends for like a few months,
Mm-hmm.
and then we became friends again. And then even with my high school friends, I actually stopped being friends with someone. Well, actually, the whole group, it was like a group of 6. I stopped being friends with them because of an ex-boyfriend that I had that, like, just didn't want me to have friends. He was just very
Oh,
controlling.
yeah.
And um, literally, I was with that person for like 5 years. And then I broke up with him, and I wanted my friends back. And I know, like, there was 2 sides to the coin. It was like either they're going to be like, of course we're going to take you back.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other side, it's like, oh,
How
now
could
that,
you?
yeah,
Yeah.
or now that you're single, now you want to come
Mm-hmm.
back. They could have gave me that energy, but they didn't. They welcomed me with open hands. And that's because I didn't let pride get in the way. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm going to still try. I'm going to reach out. And I reached out and I said, I'm sorry. I fucking miss you guys. Please take me back.
Mm-hmm.
And they took me back. And like, those are really important people to me till this day. So I guess I say that to say, don't let pride get in between friendships or love.
Yeah. And even, oof, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Because even like when I, like with that friend group that I had that I, ultimately broke up, it was because a major falling out between me and my closest friend. And I want to say 2 or 3 years after everything like ended and everything like, went up in flames, I think it was me to hit her up and just be like, hi or hey. It was either her or me, but regardless, the whatever feelings in the text messages were mutual.
Yeah.
Where it was just kind of like we spoke as if nothing happened. That's how it started. And then we got into like the nitty gritty. And this is all through text, just super randomly. She asked me questions. She needed whatever closure she needed, whatever clarity on certain things. Why did you do what you do? Why did you react the way you did? Why, like why, how did all this happen? And then, and then I explained everything to her and I was very transparent with her. Like we were so far from the situation that I had spoken about it enough to like even strangers sometimes like our falling out was a story that I couldn't not talk about if somebody wanted to know why I was the way I was or even who I am. Like it's one of those
Mm.
like pivotal moments in my life that really changed my mindset on everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I had already spoken about it enough to be able to text her with as much like transparency and clarity as I possibly could have. So I explained everything. I said my piece. We agreed to see each other. And the way that even happened, we saw each other, I think, 2 times. And the first time was because I think her niece was selling like earrings. And I was like, oh, like I'll buy a pair just for the, we still had each other on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So I just, was like, oh, like I'll Venmo you the money. And I sent that. And then she was like, okay, like I'll drop off the earrings to you. And then she actually was the one that extended the invite and said like, oh, like, do you want to get food? And I was like, whoa. Because me being the one who messed up all I wanted was my friend back. You know, like that was my goal at the time. And I remember I would always say like throughout that day, like, um, if you're open to ever being like friends with me again, like just know like, you know, I'm open to it too. And, you know, obviously a whole bunch of times in there I'm said I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like we hung out and, you know, she told me that she felt almost like naive for being as open as she was with me because it felt like we were kids again, that we were just, you know, hanging
Oh,
out.
yeah.
And like that was tough for both of us because it gives me hope that we could be friends, but
Yeah.
she's fighting it because she knows how foul I had been in the past and she just doesn't want to get into that. And she, you know, full on expressed to me that I screwed up the way that she viewed female friendships after that. You know, and like it's tough on both of us because she can straight up tell me to my face, like, I see how much you've changed. And I know like that's a battle in her head. Like, how much do I believe this? Because she could easily be acting
Yeah.
like the good friend that she was and just not be that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an interesting time. And then a year after we saw each other once more. This was after COVID. And I don't even know how this one happened. I think it was just like I think I reached out to her because she went to school not in New York, and I know she was back in New York. And I was like, hey, like, do you just want to like grab food or something? She said, yeah. We hung out, and then we didn't talk about the past. Like we just caught
Yeah.
up on the time in between the last hangout and that one, and that was it. And like we would say happy birthday to each other here and there, but then things got weird because like full transparency, I was a shitty person in high school. She wasn't the only person that I wronged. So there was another girl that had also wronged. They became really close.
Mm-hmm.
But that person, she hates me. Like without a doubt. Like she wouldn't even like think about
Consider,
hanging
yeah.
out with me, nothing. And I'm just like, then I have to think like is prideless the word? I don't know if that's a word. But as much as like I was able to open the door to hang out with this girl, I'm like, can I be friends with you for as long as I know that you're really close with somebody who can't stand the sight of me?
Yeah.
And that's when I was just like,
I mean, that's also you just being realistic, I feel.
yeah.
Because, yeah. I do have a question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like at this point in your life and also in high school, were you prideful?
I was definitely prideful in high school. Am I prideful now? I think I do have an ego,
Okay.
but I would say I put my pride to the side for the people who matter. That's my thing. I think, cause even like, you know, even in my romantic relationships, I think I'm very different than I was before, like insanely different when it comes to pride. Like, I don't know, I'm just softer and I'm a lot more open to accepting, like, all right, I was emotional as fuck and I shouldn't have said what I said. That was my bad. And I not take fault for everything, but I take accountability for everything
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And like I said, I am that way because of everything that happened back then. Like everybody knows that you couldn't tell me I was wrong, you know, back then. And even now, there are times like, I'm not gonna lie, like my mom is the only person who could really like catch me in a bad mood and be like, Erica, you're fucking wrong, you know? But I try to be as reasonable, at least like with friends. Like, which sucks to say, because I should be, you know, I don't know. My mom just like, she turns on the little brat in me that I was when I was like 9 sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
and I snap into that weird, annoying
It's a
little
learning
kid.
process too.
Yeah. But I think this is a really big thing that I try to express to people. When you were a super prideful person and you're working on it, you're actively working on it, and something comes up where people almost like try to get that out of you, like they try to, or they say something in a way that they think would ignite the prideful person you were, just to hear that or just to see you get that way, like that is what ignites that thing in you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I can't stand when somebody makes a comment that's like, oh, like, but Erica can't say she's wrong. When we're in a conversation where I'm like clearly like guards down, open to, you know, whatever outcome of the situation or whatever. And you have the nerve to like just assume that I'm going to be the negative person that I was just because you knew me from way back when. That's what I think like triggers the thing back in me where I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. And I'm going to act exactly how I would have 5 years ago.
It is hard to like be in someone's life when they've been like very prideful and then see that change in them and see that difference. because I've definitely done that to people
Mm-hmm.
before, where I'm like, well, I'll expect that negative side,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I do want to tell you that it's such a big step, and really nice to hear you take accountability for everything that you're talking about. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even with your friendships, like you said, I was a really shitty person. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that can't even do that.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you grow as a person now too. It's like you're so aware of it, and you're able to take the accountability that it's like, okay, that's the first step. And then the next step is working on it. But
Yeah.
um
Like there are other people in that friend group who like actively like can't stand me now. Like that I've heard like recent things that they've said about me, and them saying like, "Oh, like Erica's the same person she was when she was 16." And I'm like, that's like 9 years ago.
yeah.
Like, like for you to assume that makes it really easier for me to assume because you haven't had a conversation with me. And from what I know, you have me blocked on Instagram, and this could apply to
Mhm.
several people. Several people have me blocked. Like, like, so for all I know, like you're not seeing what I'm doing or anything. So for you to assume that, I must assume that you're the same person you were when you were 16. And I feel like for me, it's the opposite. Because I've changed, I can, accept that other people have changed from back
Yeah.
then. So it's
Mhm.
just, I don't know, for them to speak that way on me, it just makes it really easy for me to say, okay, then I guess you haven't changed.
Yeah. And then it's like, at that point, people do change, but some people don't change.
Yeah.
And it's like, at that point, it's just best to like stay away. And also, I was going to ask you, what stopped you from reaching out to the friend you had a fallout
Mhm.
after, I guess, making terms with, like, you're the one that fucked up?
So the main thing that stopped me was just how wrong I was. And I think that's where the pride came in, because pride isn't, I don't think having pride doesn't mean you don't take accountability.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it just means that you're not
It's like
able to publicly take accountability.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I was wrong. Like when everything happened, I couldn't sit there and be like, what could I have possibly done wrong? Like, that's crazy.
Mhm.
I don't know why she's mad. Like, I knew exactly why she was mad. I knew exactly what I did, and everything was very obvious. But it was just more a matter of like how fucked up of a person I look and sound after like telling her the behind the scenes of everything that was going on. Like, that just felt terrible. And part of that, like, not to get whatever, but like that's also how I know I'm not a bad person. Because I'm just someone who messed up, and I'm just
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I feel like people, at least with still like the mindsets of like, when we were in high school, they're just like, how could you have not known? Like, I was 17. Like that's my
Yeah.
biggest thing. Like, cause even when I was 19, I was saying that, and people were like, well, that was just 2 years ago. It's like, okay, well, I'm 24 now, and I've been making nothing but positive progress, like emotionally and mentally. So it's just like, can we all agree? And this is for those of you I went to high school with. Can we all agree that it was not that it wasn't that bad? It was that bad for the time.
Mm-hmm.
But can we just live and let live now? I've changed. I'm better. Like,
I'm a witness of that.
see?
Accountability.
Holy hippie signing off on it.
No, I mean, honestly, like just you taking accountability like that, I'm sure like if they were to watch this, just
Mhm.
seeing you take that accountability just shows.
Yeah, one of the main questions she asked me, she was like, "How do you tell the story?" Like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a great question.
Yeah, that was one of the first things she asked, and I told her the way that I said it, and I always made sure to tell her. I was like, I always start off by saying I fucked up. I was like, before you think that this is me playing victim, this is how I tell it to everyone. This is beginning, middle, end. I gave her the whole rundown of exactly what happened, and she didn't really have like at no point did she say, but that's not what happened. So I was like, okay, cool. So I guess we can agree that the same things happen on both ends.
Mhm.
But I think it was also harder for her to hear how much I was willing to tell of what was happening. Because at the end of the day, like she was still the one getting played.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where it's her story, but it's also my story. Like it
Mhm.
impacted both of us
Yeah.
significantly.
Mhm.
So that's another reason I felt like it was okay for me to even like ever speak on it to
Yeah.
anyone.
I feel like also it's I also, how do I say this? I wish I had if I were ever to talk to my friend that like we fell out,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really fuck up. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would appreciate the accountability and like just knowing that you know that this hurt both of us. And I don't think that's something I'm ever gonna get, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. And I feel like that's the closure that I would need from that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's been a few years, like I feel like I'm never gonna forget this person because she was like so important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like giving you your flowers on taking the accountability, because it's like not everybody's able to do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it wasn't like a terrible thing that happened either. Like it's not like I can't ever forgive
Mm-hmm.
for that. But some people don't even see beyond like their present life, if that makes sense. Like it's like, oh, that was in the past. It is what it is, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Like, what's
You
the
know?
point in talking about the past? And
Exactly.
it's like,
And it's
well,
like,
if we did, maybe I'd be around. Like,
exactly.
yeah. Damn.
I know, that was deep. That was deep. My eyes got
I
watery
wasn't
a few
expecting a
times.
heart-to-heart today.
I know. Oh my God.
Woo. But back on, now that we're better, let's talk about the type of friends we are now.
Yeah.
So one thing that I've noticed that you do a lot, that I also do a lot, is host. You're the hosting
Mhm.
friend.
Yes.
And I think it's worth talking about because I feel like there isn't enough appreciation for the host
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah. So I live with my parents, like I said, but we live in a house. So I kind of have the freedom to kind of do whatever I want. So I love to host. I hate that it's not my space. And when I do have my own space, like I'm going to go crazy,
Mhm.
but I love to host. And I also do have one friend that also hosts a lot. And I'm going to speak both from the perspective of being the host and then appreciating the host. So being the host, love it. I just want to tell you that if your friend is hosting, help clean up at least. Like no shade. My friends always help, but I'm just saying to whoever doesn't help.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love to do it. I think, like I was saying earlier, like friends is one of the most important things to me. So anything that brings me and my friends together, like I'm gonna do that 100 times. Me and my high school friends have actually been having massive sleepovers for the last like 2 months. Like it's like weekly. Like we might not all make it because they work and stuff, but it'll be like 5, 6
But at least
of
they
us.
always know there is a sleepover they can attend.
Yes. My friend hit me up today and she was like, sleepover? And then I was like, bet. And then I hit up my other friend. I'm like, you gonna sleep over? It's not happening, but it's like this known thing now. It's like we're doing these massive sleepovers, even though we're 25, but it's fine.
But that's great.
Exactly.
I have a friend sleeping over in like 2 weeks. We schedule like 4 weeks ahead of time. We're like, you want to sleep over?
4
like,
weeks ahead of time.
That's adult life,
That's
yeah.
You got to schedule the time.
Yeah.
And then also appreciating the host. Like I was telling my mom this because my mom is like 50 something and she went to a friend's miss this like the past Christmas. And I was like, Ma, did you tell her thank you? And she was like, for what? And I'm like, for hosting. Like you guys are like 50 something. You got kids, you got husbands, you got work, you got this, that. Like it's hard to set up a day, get all the friends there, have food, have drinks, have games. And then on top of that, like just set a vibe and just make a memory because it's a core memory that it ends up being. So I told her that and she was like, no. And I was like, yeah, you should call her and say thank you for always taking the time to plan a get together, because it's like not everybody can do that. Not everybody has a luxury to do that. And also it is not an easy task.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, especially as the host friend, I don't want to say I'm the best at it. That's a lie. But I feel like I've become so much of the host friend that I'm the last minute host friend. Like,
yeah,
there was one time that me and my friends were supposed to go bowling and then something happened and we couldn't go bowling. But I was like, that's okay. Everybody want to come over to the house and do a game night?
Mhm.
And everyone's like, yeah. And I made a lasagna last minute. I chocolate dipped pretzels. And
That's
bro,
great.
I'm always ready for people to come over. Also because I don't want to, I don't think I'm the most homebody of a friend. I'm the friend who wants to make sure she gets her gym days in.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't want to be out late because then I'm going to be sore. And then like alcohol, sometimes it messes with me. You know,
I'm
it's
not
a
gonna
whole
lie.
thing.
Sometimes I'm like, girl, just please skip the gym today.
Yeah.
But I get it. It's discipline. I get it.
Yeah. So it's like, if anything, if it's at my house when the night's over, technically it could go as late as it wants because I just have to jump in bed. And that's it. I don't have to worry about the commute home. I don't have to worry about the Uber, the train, whatever. So like, it's also because the convenience for me, but I also have like the convenience of like having my own space and literally having space in my home. And I do my best to create a space that people want to be in. Cause like, who wants to be the host friend and everybody hates being at your house? Like there's that too. So I think,
That's funny.
I think it's really important because I also feel like I'm the most youthful, I want to say, as out of my friends. Like I have the most youthful energy. I don't want to say childish because that's not the word. But I do have like this like weird innocent kind of thing where like one of my friends last year, he was like, I never celebrate my birthday. And I was like, oh, is that so? In my head, I'm like, well, this year. So I was just like, fuck, like, for whatever reason, I said, we have to throw him a surprise birthday party. So he doesn't tell anybody when his birthday is. So me and my other friend, we went through his Instagram comments, went all the way back until we found a comment that said happy birthday. And the comment wasn't put on the same day as the post. So we just gauged the week. And on that weekend, I put together a surprise birthday party for him. But mind you, this is like a 30-something-year-old man from my gym. And we have like this whole like gym squad or whatever. So all these people, we're ranging anywhere from, I want to say like 23 to I think 34.
That's
in this
crazy.
Group. Yeah.
I'm dead.
And I had like one of those not picnic tables, but those tables that you put out when you have like backyard parties. I put a nice happy birthday thing over it. I did the chocolate dip pretzels once again. I made 3 different coquitos so I have these Kermit stickers. So little background. I love Kermit. People compare me to Kermit all the time. They say the way I move my mouth, my hands, when I talk, I'm just Kermit. You know when he falls like that?
Cute,
They say that's me. So I am one with Kermit. I feel like I identify with the guy. It's nice. So I have a bunch of Kermit stickers. I think I recently ran out that I give to people that I always keep in my bag. And I just give them one that makes me think of them the most out of the stickers that I have. So I had some ridiculous ones left over. So I had 3 coquito bottles and every sticker represented how powerful the coquito was. And so the first one, it just had Kermit smiling like, so it was a mild one. The second one had Kermit dancing, like frolicking. So I was like, oh, it's going to make you dance.
Aww.
And then the third one had Kermit crying at a window. Aww. And I was like, this is what makes you cry about your ex. So like I had that set up. So, and the guy whose birthday was, he likes to go clubbing a lot. So I got those bracelets you get at the club and then I wrote like happy birthday on them and I give them to people at the door.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah. And but I act like they were kids because I had like the 50-cent size like chips bags all throughout the table. And then because people were drinking, I had more alcohol. I had the little water bottles that fit in your hand, like the little tiny ones. So I had one out and I had another backup one ready to go once they finished it. Bro, like I was just full on auntie. I had an ice cream cake in the freezer ready to go. Everybody had lasagna because I will always have lasagna. Like I'm that friend. I have balloons everywhere. I did the whole shebang.
I'm not gonna lie, you beat me. Like, that's great.
But it's because it mixes hosting with birthdays. I'm big on birthdays.
Yeah. And I bet your friend, he appreciated it.
Oh, no. He almost cried. He made a little speech.
Especially because he doesn't celebrate it. So
it was huge. It was because he's the friend. Another reason I did it too. He's the friend that always helps everyone. Like he's known for that. Because everyone was like, how are you going to get him? Because he's also always the friend that can't make it to things.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to tell him I need help with something. I know he's going to come. And everyone was like, damn. Aw. So I told him, and he's texting me like, do you need me to bring my toolbox? I'm like, no, just bring yourself. I got the tools, whatever. He comes in and he's like, what the fuck? Like,
that's so cute.
As soon as he saw the light was off, he peeked in and he ran right back out the door. He was like, get the fuck out. Yeah. No fucking way. And I like making people feel that way. I think it's great.
Exactly. And it's like you're creating a memory for the other people too.
It's for everyone. And even my friend that helped me set up, like, then she realized, like, yo, like, hosting is a lot. And I had another friend who comes to my things often. He hosted like a barbecue or something. And here goes the appreciation part. Like, when I came, anytime I go to things, I show up with whatever you need. Soda, chips, napkins, forks, spoons, whatever. Even if you don't ask for it, I'm coming with things that I know people are gonna use.
Yeah.
And so I showed up with like it was Juneteenth. I showed up with brownies. I showed up with 2 bags of chips, a juice, and a soda. And he was like, whoa, you brought so much. Thanks so much. Because I knew everybody else is just bringing like alcohol or just like random things. Like, I'm the friend that brings ice because you're going to need ice, you know? So then the party is supposed to start in like 30 minutes. He doesn't have any of the skewers made. Nothing's chopped up. Like, the patty, like, everything's a mess. So I get in the kitchen. I just start going. And he's like, wow, like, you understand this hosting thing. He's like, this shit's tough. I was like, yep, I know. Like, I was like, that's why, like, I just host minimally. For me, minimally is like 12 times a year. But still, it's like...
Nah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But, I wish I could do more.
No,
like,
yeah.
Every free weekend I have, I'm just like, everybody come over. So he understood that. But I also, like, appreciated, like, him even thinking about putting this thing together. It was like a whole thing. It was really sweet. So that's just my little appreciation for the hosts out there.
Yeah.
That shit's hard.
It is
And
hard.
it's okay to ask, not for a cover. I'm not calling it a cover like it's a club. But it's okay to ask for, like, a few dollars from everyone just to help out. Like, I don't think that that's tacky.
Yeah.
Especially when all your effort is shown throughout the space. Like, people know what the money was put towards. Like, they're not going to tell you, like, you trying to get over on them.
Yeah. I feel like especially when I get my own place, like, I'm going to be hosting all the fucking time. It's just so, like, do you like decorating?
Decorating is cool. But it's like, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally the biggest thing.
That's what I spend my money on, decorating. Like, I did a Halloween party and, like, I made a charcuterie board out of a skeleton, like a big human body skeleton. Like,
what?
I had spider webs all over the ceilings. I had caution tape all over the windows, garbage. It was like
fucking
crazy.
Cool.
And I love to do that. I also love to like decorate stuff. So that makes it even harder.
Okay. Well, I'm big on themes. So when there's a theme, then yes, decorating, I'm like overboard. But like, regular interior decorating, not so much. But like Christmas, Halloween, like I went to a Euphoria themed party. I had never watched the show, but I was on it with the theme. Like, I looked the most euphoric out of anybody there. So give me a theme and I'm there.
No, that's fire. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. Even if there's no theme, I'll make a theme. Like, I'll just like buy, I don't know, a whole bunch of random flowers or something.
Yeah, or is everything the same color? Something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right. I think we've yapped our heads off enough for the day.
My throat is like, I'm dry.
Is there anything you want to say for your last words for people listening?
Yes. I'm going to keep it simple and sweet. Do what makes you happy and live your life for you.
Nice. In words from me, what do I got? I got nothing. Live your life. Live, laugh, love, as I say. So yeah, thank you for watching and listening wherever you watch and listen to this podcast. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, or whatever your streaming service tells you to do. Just say good things about me, help me out, all that good stuff. And yeah, once again, just thank you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.